IVM.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Positively Unlimited podcast. And this week, I'm sharing with you the word Kickstart. Now, if you're wondering why I chose this word, well, it's because we're slowly inching towards restarting life. Life that was put on pause in many ways a few months ago. And we're slowly moving towards creating and experiencing a new normal. So I looked up the word Kickstart and I was most amused because it is defined as a mechanism that allows us to start a process quickly. And that is something that we all need right now because many of us feel that we have lost time. Some of us genuinely have, and some of us, well, despite things being put on pause, despite some things slowing down, we may not have really lost time, but rather gained time to do certain things that we should have been doing. So, there's different ways of looking at it. However, because we're now moving into a new normal, we need to kickstart certain processes. Because we've been locked up at home for so long, there's also this desire to be out there and free and running and sprinting through life again. And in order to do that, we need to kickstart certain processes within our own being which have been put on pause or which have been parked away because we didn't really need those qualities during these last few months. We had to pull out a whole different set. So what I'm going to share with you today, well, it's very simple questions that will allow you to find your own kickstart mechanism. The first thing that you need to do is think of the next 3 months. And yes, we can't be sure of anything, but looking at the fact that life is going to move into a new normal, think of the different scenarios that are possible and that are plausible and put down what do you want to experience. So I'm not asking you to imagine a new reality or change the current reality, but keeping the current reality in mind, knowing that things are slowly opening up as the lockdown is being eased. What is it that you want to experience in the coming 3 months? What is possible and what is plausible? Both. Now, once you write that down and you look at it, if any logistical pieces jump out at you, make a note of it. So, for instance, if you have to go from point A to point B, you're going to need a pass of some sort. Write that down, saying need to make a pass. If you want to be spending time with friends and you have to call up and check on certain precautions that they've been taking and inform them of precautions that you've been taking, make a note of that. So make a note of the logistical things that you will have to do to make that reality come true, to make your desires into a reality and to really live what you want to be living. As the lockdown eases, as life moves into what we are seeing as a new normal. Now, this is the desire and tangible aspect of it, right? We're slowly going to move towards finding the kickstart. That mechanism within you that can allow you to kickstart this process of making these desires a reality, of living the kind of life that you have just put down. So I want you to answer this question. What are the 3 qualities that you need right now? Now, these qualities could be something that you have, something that you had and it was parked away during the lockdown, or something that you don't have but you need to learn. Qualities could also mean mindsets. Qualities could also mean a certain emotion. However, I'm looking at this more from the intellectual space. So what are the qualities that you need as a person, the top 3 qualities that you need as an individual to live that life that you have just penned down? So if you are someone who has been very casual in their approach, maybe you need a quality of being cautious. Maybe you need the quality of being responsible. If you've been someone who's been too afraid and has been overcautious, well, maybe you need the quality of being bold. So give it a thought and write 3 qualities, not more, or 3 mindsets. Once you have done that, I want you to think about what is the one obstacle emotional obstacle standing in your path? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it shame? Is it guilt? Is it pain? I know that for a lot of us, it is going to be fear, but I'm still putting out the other emotions so that you can identify them if there are other obstacles. What is the obstacle standing in your path? Which emotional obstacle do you have to overcome? Now, once you have written that down, I want you to ask yourself this. What is that one emotion that can allow you to counter that obstacle, overcome it or break through it, and that can help you stay on track with those mindsets that you chose? What is that one emotion? Remember one thing, within our beings, the kickstart mechanism is always an emotional one. You know, I'm often asked, how do you stay emotionally motivated? Well, motivation is an emotional process. To stay on track with something, especially new habits that you're building or new choices that you are making, you need to have an emotional motivator. And it cannot be just an external desire. So similarly, in order for us to get back to life and thrive in this new normal, because we're not talking about survival anymore, we're talking about thriving. So if you have to thrive, what is that one emotional quality or one emotion that you need the most? Find it and write it down in big, bold letters. So I'm going to try and break this down with an example for you. So say, for instance, that now that this lockdown is opening, one of the things that I want to do, which I haven't done, is step out of the house. So I've been locked in my house since 14th March. I haven't even gone down in my own compound, right? So what am I looking for? I'm looking for being able to step out of my house and go meet a friend at her place, even if it is for a little bit. Go out to the market and buy something as and when required, not frivolously, but step out slowly as and when it is allowed. Well, because I work from home, going out at the end of my workday was how I used to refuel my tank. It was what I did for leisure, right? Now, if I have to start that in tiny ways and within permissible ways, given what we are going through this year, 1, I have to be cautious. 2, I have to be mindful of timings. 3, I have to be bold. 4, I have to be trusting. So now these are the qualities that I have identified. Now coming to the emotional kickstart that will allow me to overcome, well, the obstacle of fear. So the emotional obstacle is fear, because I live with my dad, and the fear is if I go out of my house and I come back in, what if something happens and I'm the carrier of the virus, right? So for me, it's that fear. Now, if I have to overcome it, what is the other emotion that I have that will allow me to park that fear aside, especially if I'm taking all the right precautions and I'm doing everything in my power to be as careful as I can? What is that one emotion that will allow me to take this tiny risk? Because in the days and the world that we're living in right now, it does feel like a risk to me. So when I think about it, for me, the word is excitement. The excitement of meeting someone that I love very, very much, someone who I haven't seen for so long, and the excitement of spending time with her, spending time with my nephew, spending time with people that I love in, well, one-on-one basis and in small ways at their place or at my place. So it's the excitement of connection, making memories, well, being in the presence of someone that I love. Simply put, it is just that. It is something as tiny as that, right? So my emotional kickstart is excitement. That is an emotion right now that will allow me to get up and run. Now, why is excitement such a good kickstart for me? Well, because life has been kind of mundane and routine in terms of daily life, right? Sitting in the house and not doing much. So the excitement of getting out, the excitement of seeing someone else, the excitement of seeing someone that I love and spending time with them again, the excitement of having few moments like we used to have before the outbreak happened. My emotional kickstart is excitement. You need to find yours. So use the questions that I have given you in this episode. Put them down. And if you still need some more help, then you can DM me on Instagram. My handle is PositivityAngel. Also, all previous episodes of IVM are on their app and on their website. And you can also follow them on Twitter and Instagram. Their handles are IVM Podcasts.
I hope you enjoyed that show. We'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money. It really has been a great week this week. We've had two of our first international cricketers show up, people who have played for their respective sides. We had W.V. Raman come on Edges and Sledges, the cricket podcast. If you haven't heard that, you should be listening to that if you enjoy cricket. It's really one of the best out there. And you should also definitely check out Monty Pandithar, who showed up on Cyrus Says. That was another really interesting conversation that occurred. If you haven't been listening to a few of our shorter shows, please do that as well. Ashish Vidyarthi has been doing a great job for us. We got 30 episodes now on Begin the Journey. I think you really enjoyed that show. If you haven't listened to it, it helps you with understanding what's going on in this tough time and how do you deal with it from a mental health perspective. We've also had some really fun stuff come up on the Smile India show. Shifa's been doing a lot of really good stories over there. Things would just make you happy, so definitely do check that out. And on the more serious side, make sure that you're checking out our regular shows like the Pragati podcast, All Things Policy. They're definitely going to keep you up to date on what's going on in this COVID world. And thanks for listening, and we hope to catch you again next week.
Are you constantly seeking happiness? Wondering how to make the most of every day? How not to let your inhibitions stop you from achieving your goals? It's now time to get your A game on. It's time to unlock your true potential. Tune in to the Empowering series with me, Zarina Poonawalla, to feel empowered in all genres of life. From behavioral skills to management skills, from health to relationships, from mental well-being to emotional well-being, and of course your finances. I've got you covered. With these tips and tricks from me, Zarina, and true life stories from my amazing guests, you're bound to bring your purest to the table. Tune in to the Empowering series with Zarina Poonawalla every Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you listen to podcasts.